The rain came down in sheets, slapping against Arya Vale's windshield as her car climbed the winding mountain road. She tightened her grip on the steering wheel, her chest rising with a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. New town, new life, she whispered. But something inside her twisted like the mountains themselves were watching. The Crescent Wards wasn't the kind of place people simply moved into. The townsfolk whispered stories, strange disappearances, unexplainable howls at night, old traditions no outsider dared question. But Arya wasn't here to belong. She was here to forget. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the towering pines. And for a second, she thought she saw eyes in the dark, gold, wild, watching. She blinked and they vanished. Deep in the forest, Damien Thorne stood at the cliff's edge, the rain sliding down his bare back. His pack was somewhere behind him, waiting, watching, fearing him more than respecting him. 10 years as Alpha. 10 years since the massacre. 10 years since his wolf went silent. He felt nothing. Not anger. Not grief. Not even hunger. Until a scent. Soft, clean, human. But layered with something wild, ancient, forbidden. He inhaled sharply. And deep inside him, the wolf he thought was dead, growled. Mate. Damien's eyes snapped open, glowing molten gold. No. This wasn't happening. Not to him. Not again. But the scent pulled at him like gravity, like destiny. Arya stepped out of her car when it finally sputtered to a pathetic death right at the entrance of the mountain town. Perfect, she muttered. Then she felt it, a shiver racing up her spine. The wind stilled. The rain softened. The forest listened. A growl rumbled through the trees. Deep, powerful, not entirely human. Arya spun around, heart pounding. That's when he stepped out. Damien. Tall, broad-shouldered, soaked to the skin, his black shirt clinging to muscles carved as though by the moon itself. His hair dripped water, falling over a face too sharp, too intense to be safe. But it was his eyes. Those golden eyes glowing faintly in the storm that rooted her in place. "Are you lost?" he asked, voice low, rough, like he hadn't spoken in hours. Arya swallowed. "Car trouble." He stepped closer. Every inch of his body went tense at the scent rolling off her skin. His jaw worked like he was fighting something inside. Her heartbeat thundered in her chest and he heard every beat. "Who are you?" he whispered. "Arya," she said, breathless. "Arya Vale." Something in his expression cracked pain, disbelief, hunger, fear, all tangled. "Go back," Damien said sharply, stepping away from her as if she burned him. "Whatever brought you here, turn around. Leave." Arya lifted her chin. Stubborn. Brave. Unaware she was speaking to the most feared alpha in the region. "I just got here," she said. "I'm not leaving." Damien's eyes flashed gold again. The wolf inside him snarled, clawing, demanding. "Mate." "No," he hissed under his breath. But destiny had already taken its first step. When Arya touched his arm only to steady herself, the world shifted. Damien froze. His heart slammed against his ribs. His wolf roared. Every nerve lit up like wildfire. He ripped his arm away, breathing hard, fighting the shift. Arya stepped back, alarmed. "Sorry, I didn't mean." "Don't touch me," Damien growled, voice shaking. But gods, he wanted her to. Her touch had done something impossible. It awakened his wolf. His knees nearly buckled as the beast inside him howled her name in a language older than man. Arya. His mate. His salvation. His destruction. He clenched his fists until his claws broke skin. This couldn't be happening. Not now. Not to him. Damien forced his voice steady. "Listen to me. Leave before the moon rises." Arya stared, confused. "Are you threatening me?" His gaze softened for just a moment, pained, torn, almost pleading. "No," he whispered. "I'm trying to save you." Thunder rolled behind them. Wolves howled in the distance. And Damien looked over his shoulder with the expression of a man who knew hell was coming. "Run, Arya," he said, eyes glowing gold. "Before I can't stop myself." The night tasted of secrets. Damien Thorne stood alone at the tree line, breathing in the scent that had torn open a decade of silence inside him. Arya. Even her name felt dangerous in his mouth. His pack never saw their alpha rattled, but tonight, something inside him had cracked. His wolf, once caged by trauma, paced and snarled like a beast reborn. "Find her," the wolf urged. "Touch her. Claim her. Protect her." The instincts rushed through him so fiercely Damien had to brace a hand against a tree to keep him from losing control. He had spent years training himself to feel nothing, to let no emotion weaken him, but the bond clawed at the inside of his chest with a dizzying force. He shouldn't go to her. He shouldn't want her. He damn sure shouldn't need her. Yet by the time the moon reached its climb in the sky, Damien was walking drawn toward the small cabin where he knew she'd be. Arya sat on the porch steps, her hair a dark waterfall around her face, firelight flickering behind her. Her shoulders were slumped with exhaustion, but when she looked up and saw him emerging from the forest, her breath hitched. "You again," she whispered. Damien stopped several feet away, jaw clenched tight. "I shouldn't be here." "Then go." He didn't move, couldn't. The moon illuminated her features soft, warm, human, and Damien felt something inside him melt. His wolf growled possessively, the sound vibrating beneath Damien's skin. Arya frowned. "You're staring." No one ever told Damien Thorne that. People looked away from him, feared him, bowed to him. But Arya met his gaze like he was a man, not a monster. His voice came out low. "I heard wolves tonight." "You shouldn't be alone." Her lips twitched. "I'm a big girl. I can handle myself." His jaw flexed. "Not here, you can't." Arya opened her mouth to argue, but something in his expression stopped her. A quiet worry, a gentleness he didn't show anyone else. "Why do you care?" she asked softly. Damien flinched like she'd hit him. He turned away, raking a hand through his hair as if fighting something deeper than instinct. "I don't." He lied. "I can't." Then his voice broke just a little. "But my wolf does." Arya's breath caught. "You're what?" She waited for him to laugh, to say it was a joke. He didn't. Instead, his eyes slowly shifted into a radiant golden glow that pierced the night. Arya stumbled backward. "What are you?" "Wrong question," he murmured. "The right one is, what are you?" Her heartbeat kicked into a frantic rhythm, one he could hear as clearly as rain. Damien stepped closer, his voice dropping to a husky rumble. "I know you feel something. Don't deny it." Arya swallowed hard. She hated how her body reacted, how warmth pooled in her chest at the sound of his voice. "Maybe I do," she admitted quietly. "But it scares me." "Good," Damien whispered. "Fear keeps you alive." Then he reached out, as if fighting gravity itself, and brushed a raindrop from her cheek. The touch was electric, painful in its intensity. Arya inhaled sharply, her skin burning where his fingers lingered. Damien jerked his hand away like he'd touched a flame. His breathing was ragged. "You should stay inside tonight," he said roughly. "Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone, not even me." Arya stepped forward, confusion and worry clouding her face. "Damien." He backed away, gaze tortured. "If I don't leave now," he rasped, "I won't leave at all." And like a shadow fleeing the sunrise, he vanished into the forest. But Arya didn't sleep, because deep in the woods, a howl ripped through the night, a howl filled with longing, desperation, and something else, claiming. The morning sun crept over the mountains, but Arya felt no warmth. Her dreams had been restless, filled with golden eyes and an ache she didn't understand. She found herself replaying the night over and over, his voice, his warning, the look in his eyes when his wolf surfaced. By afternoon, she found herself wandering into the forest trail. Something tugged her deeper, unseen but undeniable. She walked until the trees thickened and the world turned quiet. That's when she heard it. A low growl. Her heartbeat leapt. She spun around, expecting Damien, but instead found a massive black wolf circling her, its hackles raised. Its eyes were red, wrong, unnatural. Her breath hitched. "Easy." The wolf lunged. Arya screamed and stumbled backward, bracing for teeth, but a blur of black and silver slammed into the red-eyed wolf, sending it crashing into a tree. The ground shook. Damien, in wolf form. He was enormous, larger than any natural wolf should be, fur like obsidian, eyes blazing gold. He tore into the attacking wolf with a ferocity that stole her breath. Muscles rippled, claws slashed, snarls shook the air. Within seconds, the rogue wolf fled, whimpering into the forest. Damien turned to her. Arya froze. His wolf padded closer, stopping just inches from her. He lowered his massive head until his nose brushed her hand. Her fingers trembled as they touched his fur, soft, warm, alive. The bond snapped open like a pulse between them. Images, feelings, a rush of heat, fear, longing, pain, and something sharp and heartbreaking, like a wound that never healed. Arya gasped. Her knees nearly buckled. Damien shifted back, his human form emerging from the shadows of the trees. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths, dirt and sweat streaking his skin. He didn't bother covering himself. Wolves had no shame, but Arya's cheeks flushed. "You're hurt," she whispered. Damien glanced at a slash across his abdomen, blood trickling down his skin. "It's nothing." She stepped closer. "Let me help." His voice dropped. "Don't touch me." But it wasn't a command. It was a plea. Arya ignored him and pressed her hand gently against the wound. A warm glow spread from her palm, soft, golden, soothing. Damien's eyes widened. "What are you?" he whispered, awe and fear mixing in his tone. Arya pulled her hand back, shaken. "I don't know." The wound had vanished, completely healed. Damien stared at her, breaths uneven. "You're not human." "I've always been human." "Not anymore," he murmured, stepping closer. "And that terrifies me." Their faces were inches apart. The tension between them thrummed like a live wire. Arya whispered, "Why are you fighting this bond so hard?" Damien's jaw flexed. "Because every woman I've ever loved has died." Her eyes softened. "I'm not them." "I can't lose you," he said, voice breaking. "And if I claim you, if I accept what you are to me, every enemy I've ever made will come for you." Arya's breath shuddered out. "Maybe I'm already in danger." Damien closed his eyes, forehead resting against hers. "And that's exactly why I should walk away." But he didn't move. Not an inch. And Arya knew. This was the beginning of a love the moon itself would bleed to protect. The tension between Damien and Arya had ignited like wildfire, but the world around them was changing just as quickly. News of the rogue attack reached the Nightfang pack before Damien even returned. When he stepped into the clearing, his beta, Callan, approached him with a tense expression. "You were seen," Callan said quietly. "In wolf form. With a woman." Damien's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Who saw?" "2 hunters from the outskirts." Damien cursed under his breath. Arya's scent on him was unmistakable. And wolves were creatures of instinct. Wolves could sense obsession, desire, danger. Their alpha was hiding something, and that never went unnoticed. Back at her cabin, Arya paced in circles. She felt the weight of unseen eyes watching her from the forest, from rooftops, from shadows. Wolves she never saw, but sensed. Rumors whispered around town. The alpha was protecting a human. A weakness. A mate. The rebels' wolves who despised Damien's rule were the first to move. 2 of them approached her cabin at dusk. Arya felt a chill crawl up her spine as they knocked on her door. "Miss Vale," one said with a too polite smile. "We heard you had an incident in the woods." Her blood ran cold. "I'm fine. We'd like to speak to you." Alpha's orders. Lies. Damien would never send strangers. Arya's heart hammered. They stepped toward her, and the forest exploded. Damien landed between them with a snarl so vicious the rebels stumbled backward. His eyes gleamed molten gold, his fists clenched, his wolf raging beneath his skin. "If you ever come near her again," Damien said, voice deadly calm, "you'll lose more than your titles. You'll lose your lives." The rebels fled into the trees. Arya stared at Damien, her chest tightening with fear not of him, but for him. "They'll come back," she whispered. "I know," he said, turning to her. His voice softened. "This is why you should leave the wards." "And leave you?" she asked, breath shaking. "Is that what you want?" His silence spoke volumes. He wanted her, more than anything, but he also feared her fate more than he feared death. Damien stepped close, cupping her face gently in his hands. "Arya, I'm yours whether I want to be or not, but being mine puts a target on your back." "Then train me," she breathed. "Teach me to survive." Damien froze. His wolf howled in agreement, and Damien knew he was already hers, completely. Days passed, but the intensity between Arya and Damien only deepened. She trained with him in the forest every morning, her footwork improving, her reflexes sharpening under his relentless guidance. He pushed her harder than he pushed any warrior in his pack, not because he doubted her, but because the thought of losing her carved fear into his bones. But something else was happening too. Her body was changing. The first sign came when Damien accidentally nicked her arm during combat practice. Nothing deep, just a scratch. Yet Arya watched in shock as the wound closed in seconds, sealing over without a trace. Damien stiffened. "It's getting stronger." "What is?" "Whatever you are." Arya shook her head. "I'm human, Damien." "You were human." His eyes held a truth she wasn't ready to hear. That night, She dreamed of moonlight pouring into her veins, rushing through her like fire and ice. She saw symbols ancient, burning with power carved into a circle of stone. She heard a whisper that wasn't a voice, wasn't a sound, but a memory carried through blood. When she awoke, there was a symbol on her palm. Faint, glowing softly. Damien saw it and nearly froze. "I've seen that mark only once," he murmured. "On a woman who died centuries ago." Arya's heart pounded. "What does it mean?" He traced the edge of the symbol with trembling fingers. "It means you're not just my mate." His voice dropped, shaken. "You're the cure to the curse placed on werewolves." Arya stared at him, breath caught. "Cure? Curse? Damien, I don't understand." He exhaled deeply. "Every alpha line suffers the same fate. Every generation, their mate dies early. The bond kills them, or fate takes them." Arya's chest tightened. "That's why you didn't want me." His gaze softened painfully. "I can survive anything except losing you." She reached up, touching his cheek. "Maybe I was meant to break the curse." Damien closed his eyes. "Or maybe the curse brought you here to destroy us both." But even as he spoke the words, he pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers, his breath trembling against her lips. Arya whispered, "Damien, you can't keep pushing me away." "I know," he murmured, "because every time I do, all I want is to pull you back." And then he kissed her, not gently, not cautiously, but like a man who'd been starved of feeling for too long. Her fingers curled into his hair, his hands gripping her waist, dragging her closer. The forest seemed to hold its breath as something ancient awakened between them, but far away, glowing eyes watched, enemies whispered, and destiny tightened its grip on them both. The moonless night came once every decade, a night older than the packs themselves. A night when the veil between human and wolf thinned dangerously. Damien tried to hide the truth from Arya, but she sensed the tension climbing in him as sunset neared. "What's happening?" she pressed. "You need to stay indoors," he said, voice hard. "No matter what you hear, not even if you hear me." Arya frowned. "Damien, promise me." Seeing the fear in his eyes, she reluctantly nodded. But as darkness settled, a violent roar echoed through the forest. The cabin walls trembled. Arya's heart raced. She knew that voice, Damien's voice, except twisted, wounded. She cracked open the door, ignoring every instinct telling her to stay inside. What she saw stole the breath from her chest. Damien was on his knees in the clearing, half shifted, his bones contorting, his claws digging into the dirt. His wolf fought the transformation like a beast trapped between forms. "Arya," he gasped, voice distorted. "Go inside. Now." She took a step toward him. "You're hurt." He slammed a clawed hand into the ground. "Don't." But she didn't listen. She ran to him, falling to her knees beside him, ignoring the danger, ignoring the fear. Her hands touched his face. The moment her skin met his, the transformation stalled. His breathing steadied, her presence soothed him. Damien looked at her with eyes, half wolf, half man. "You're the only thing that keeps me from losing control." A shadow moved in the trees. The rogue wolf from before lunged toward Arya. Damien reacted with a fury she'd never seen. His shift completed instantly, massive, powerful, primal. He slammed into the attacker with bone-crushing force, pinning it to the ground with his jaws around its throat. Arya watched, trembling, as Damien's wolf protected her like she was breath itself. When the enemy fled, Damien shifted back, shoulders heaving. He walked toward her slowly, cautiously, and then, without a word, he lifted her into his arms, carrying her into the cabin. He laid her gently on the bed, his forehead pressing to hers again. "I almost lost you," he whispered, voice cracking. "I can't, Arya, I can't live through that again." She cupped his face. "You won't lose me." "You're my weakness," he breathed. "Or your strength," she whispered back. His lips brushed hers, soft, reverent, desperate, and that night, they didn't sleep. They held each other like the moon had died and risen again just for them. Damien woke before dawn, his arms still around Arya's waist. For the first time in 10 years, peace settled over him like her heartbeat had lulled his wolf into harmony. But peace never lasted. His beta, Callan, burst into the cabin without knocking. The moment he saw Arya wrapped in Damien's arms, he froze, then bowed deeply. "Alpha, the elders know." Damien tensed. "Know what? That she's your mate." Arya's breath caught. Damien rose, pulling on his shirt, jaw clenched. "Did they send for her?" No, Callan said. They sent for you. When Damien left, Arya paced the cabin, anxiety clawing at her chest. Hours passed before he returned silent, distant, eyes stormy. What happened? She asked. Damien's jaw flexed. The elders agreed you're my mate, but they want the bond sealed. Arya blinked. Sealed? His gaze darkened. A mark. She swallowed. Like, a bite? Yes. Arya's heart thundered. Not in fear, but in something far more dangerous. She stepped closer. Do you want to mark me? Damien grabbed her by the waist, pulling her against him. His voice dropped to a growl. I want to. More than anything I've ever wanted in my life. Then why don't you? Because marking you binds your soul to mine. If I die, you die. Damien. He lifted her chin, eyes burning into hers. Say the word, Arya. Say it, and I'll mark you right now. Her breath trembled. I'm not afraid, she whispered. Damien's control snapped. His lips crashed into hers, wild and hungry. He lifted her, pressing her back against the wall, kissing her like she was oxygen. His wolf snarled possessively, every muscle in his body taut with restraint. He moved his lips to her throat, breath hot against her skin. Say it, he whispered. Say you want to be mine. Arya moaned softly. I already am. Damien's teeth grazed her neck. Then a deafening boom shook the cabin. The door burst open. A stranger stood there tall, deadly, with white hair and ice-blue eyes. The Eastern Ridge Alpha. And he smiled. Well, well. The Nightfang Alpha's mate. How interesting. Damien shoved Arya behind him, baring his teeth. You're not touching her, he growled. The rival Alpha chuckled. Oh. But I didn't come to touch her. I came to claim her. Arya gasped. What? You carry the healer's blood, he said. And that makes you the key to ending the curse. And if you won't join me, his eyes glowed. Then I'll take you. And just like that, the war began. The Eastern Ridge Pack surrounded the cabin within minutes. Damien grabbed Arya's hand and bolted out the back door, shifting mid-run, his wolf form massive and fierce. Arya held onto his fur as he raced through the trees. But their enemies were fast, too fast. The rival Alpha's voice echoed through the forest. Bring me the girl alive! Kill the Nightfang Alpha! Damien skidded to a halt near the river, shifting back. Arya, he said urgently, if they take you, everything ends. I can fight. No, he snapped, gripping her shoulders. You're not trained for this. Before she could argue, an arrow soared toward her. Damien shoved her to the ground, taking the arrow in his shoulder. Arya screamed, reaching for him, but in the next breath, wolves were everywhere. Damien shifted again, blood trailing down his side, but the wound only fueled his rage. He tore through attackers, protecting Arya with wild desperation. Then the rival Alpha stepped forward. Damien lunged. Claws met claws, teeth met teeth. The fight shook the ground, two Alphas locked in primal combat. Arya watched, horror twisting her stomach as Damien struggled against his opponent's strange power. The rival Alpha whispered a spell dark. Ancient and Damien collapsed to one knee, body shuddering violently. Stop! Arya cried, running toward them. But the moment she touched Damien, light exploded from her palms, bright, blinding, golden. The rival Alpha staggered back. Damien gasped, the dark magic breaking. Arya had saved him. Again. The rival Alpha glared, furious. So the stories are true. The healer's blood lives. He signaled his wolves. Retreat! The attackers fled into the night, leaving Arya trembling beside Damien. He shifted back, breathing ragged, blood dripping from his shoulder. Arya cupped his face. Damien, are you okay? He stared at her like she was a miracle. You healed me, he whispered. You saved me. And then he kissed her roughly, desperately, as if losing her had nearly killed him. When the elders summoned Damien and Arya, the air inside the council chamber was heavy with fear. Ancient scrolls were laid out across the stone table, each marked with symbols Arya recognized from her dreams. An elder spoke gravely. The prophecy says the healer's blood will appear once every 1,000 years. A woman born human, but destined to become something more. Another elder added, her mate will be the strongest Alpha of his era. Together, they will either end the curse or awaken it. Arya's voice trembled. What curse? The elders exchanged wary glances. Damien answered softly. The curse that kills the mates of Alphas. Arya swallowed. But I healed Damien last night. Doesn't that mean? No, an elder interrupted. It means fate has begun shifting, but destiny can still swing either way. The prophecy continued. If the healer accepts the Alpha's mark, the moon will choose their path, life or death, love or ruin. Damien grabbed Arya's hand under the table. Another elder pointed at Arya. If the wrong Alpha claims you, the curse will consume every pack in the mountains. Arya felt cold. The Eastern Ridge Alpha, he wants me. And he'll try again, Damien said, voice low with rage. The elders stepped back. You two must decide. Bind the mate bond, or break it. Arya stared at Damien. Break it? His expression hardened. That will never happen. Her heart thudded. The elders warned. If you choose the bond, you must be prepared. Many will hunt you. And destiny rarely spares lovers. Arya squeezed Damien's hand. Then let destiny try. For the first time in a decade, Damien smiled softly. She's mine, he said. And I'll burn the world before I let fate take her. Damien gathered his pack in the clearing. Arya stood beside him, trembling but determined. The pack murmured in shock at the sight of their Alpha holding his mate's hand, but Damien silenced them with a glance. I swear a blood oath, he announced, voice ringing with power. Anyone who touches her dies. Anyone who betrays her faces my claws. He sliced his palm with a dagger, letting the blood fall onto the earth. The ground trembled as the oath was sealed. Arya felt a tug inside her chest, a bond pulling taut, stronger than before. Damien's wolf howled inside him, demanding he finish the mark. But he resisted, not yet ready to risk her life. Suddenly Callan ran into the clearing. Alpha, scouts report movement near the border. The Eastern Ridge Pack is preparing for attack. The air shifted. Damien's eyes went gold. Prepare for war. Arya grabbed his arm. Let me help. He cupped her cheek. You already have. You gave me something to fight for. Her eyes welled. Then come back alive. Damien kissed her deeply, passionately. I'll always come back to you. But she saw something in his eyes, a fear he tried to hide. The fear of leaving her alone in a world determined to tear them apart. The night of the attack arrived beneath a blood-red moon. Wolves clashed in brutal combat, fur and claws colliding as packs fought for dominance. Damien moved like a storm, lethal, unstoppable. His wolf tore through enemies, protecting his territory with savage devotion. But when the rival Alpha appeared, everything changed. The white-haired Alpha unleashed dark magic again, forcing Damien to shift violently, painfully. Arya watched in horror from the cliffside as Damien stumbled, weakened. She couldn't stay back any longer. Racing into the battlefield, she ran straight toward Damien even as wolves lunged at her, but each time they got close, her palms glowed gold, forcing them back. The rival Alpha snarled. Foolish girl! He hurled a spell toward her. Damien leapt in front of her, taking the hit. Arya screamed as dark energy wrapped around Damien's chest. Blood dripped from his mouth as he fell to one knee. The rival Alpha laughed. Let him die. Then your power will be mine. Arya stepped in front of Damien, tears streaking her face. Stay away from him. Her hands ignited with golden light so bright the battlefield froze. Wolves stared in awe. Even the rival Alpha took a step back. And then Arya unleashed it. A wave of healing magic exploded outward so powerful it shattered the dark spell binding Damien. He rose to his feet, eyes blazing with renewed strength. Together Alpha and Healer they advanced. The rival Alpha fled into the woods, cursing them both. But the moment the battle ended, Damien collapsed. Arya caught him, sobbing. Damien, please, he whispered weakly. Don't cry, Arya. Blood stained her hands. You're my life now, Damien rasped. I won't leave you. But his eyes fluttered shut, and the prophecy whispered. Love will cost the Alpha his breath. Arya refused to leave Damien's side. She stayed by his bed for days, pouring healing energy into him until her body trembled with exhaustion. But the dark magic had sunk too deep. Every hour, Damien slipped further away. Callan begged her to rest. Wolves brought herbs. Elders muttered ancient prayers. Nothing worked. Finally, in a moment of despair, Arya begged the elders for answers. There is only one way, they said. Break the mate bond. Sever your connection. Free him from the curse. Arya froze. No, if you stay bonded, he dies. Damien awoke briefly that night. His voice was faint. Arya. She took his hand, tears falling. I'm here. He coughed, blood staining his lips. I can feel the curse tightening. It's killing me. Because I love you. She broke. No, she whispered. Don't say that. Break it, Damien breathed. Break the bond. And live. I can't. You must. His heart slowed. Arya. His thumb brushed her cheek. I'll find you in the next life. Her scream shattered the room, and with a trembling hand, she pressed her glowing palm to his chest, whispering the words the elders gave her. The mate bond snapped. Damien's body arched, the breaking ripping through both their souls like fire. He collapsed, unconscious. Arya fell to the floor, sobbing. The world felt empty. Her chest felt hollow. The bond's absence was agony. But Damien lived, barely, and he would never be the same. Arya left the wards. She couldn't stay near Damien, couldn't breathe in the place where their love had been carved open and torn apart. She ran until her feet bled, reaching an abandoned shrine deep in the mountains. There, she discovered the truth. The curse wasn't meant to kill the mates of alphas. It was meant to kill the alphas themselves, and the healer's blood was meant to save only one, her mate, Damien. Heart pounding, Arya stepped into the spirit realm, a world of moonlit rivers, shadow wolves, and ancestral spirits. She walked barefoot across silver water, searching for the man whose soul called to hers even through the broken bond. Finally, she found him. Damien stood at the edge of a dark abyss, his spirit flickering like a dying flame. Damien, she whispered. He turned, shock filling his eyes. Arya? This isn't real. You severed the bond. I felt it. I'm here, she whispered. I came for you. He reached out a trembling hand. It passed straight through her. You can't save me, he said. I'm already gone. Arya shook her head fiercely. I didn't break the bond to lose you. I broke it so I could come here. She lifted her palm glowing gold and pressed it against his heart. Damien gasped. The spirit realm pulsed violently, and the bond reignited. Searing, brilliant, eternal. Damien collapsed into her arms as the world around them shattered and they were pulled back into their bodies. Arya awoke with a scream. Damien awoke choking, and the mate bond blazed between them stronger than ever. But something was different about him. His eyes glowed brighter. His wolf felt larger, more powerful. The curse hadn't broken. It had awakened something new. When Damien stood, every wolf in the pack fell to their knees. His aura had changed, ancient, commanding, dangerous. Elders whispered in fear. Callan stared in awe. Alpha, he whispered. You're not just an alpha anymore. Damien's eyes glowed molten gold. No. Arya stepped beside him, her hand slipping into his. Damien spoke the truth that shook the mountains. I am the Night Fang King. A title lost for centuries. A title reserved for a wolf who survived the breaking of the mate bond and returned stronger. Power radiated from him, pulling the air tight around them. Arya felt the bond humming like a live wire. But she also felt the prophecy twisting again. If Damien was the Night Fang King, then Arya was the queen. A target on both their backs grew tenfold. Damien found Arya alone near the river that night. His steps were hesitant, almost afraid. When she turned, he fell to his knees before her. She gasped. Damien, what are you? His voice broke. I hurt you. I forced you to break the bond. I made you carry my pain. Arya cupped his face. We saved each other. Damien rested his forehead against her stomach, arms circling her waist tightly. I'm yours. In this life, the next, and everyone after. Arya sank to her knees with him, their foreheads touching. His breath trembled. Let me mark you, she whispered. Yes. His wolf surged with hunger, desire, devotion. Damien leaned forward, his lips trailing down her throat, his breath warm against her skin. His teeth grazed her neck, and the world spun. The bond sealed. Fire and stars and moonlight burst between them. Arya moaned softly as their souls fused completely, eternally. She was his. He was hers. Forever. The next morning, the elders delivered devastating news. Arya was not the only bearer of healer's blood. Her lineage had been hidden by her parents, descendants of the lunar priestesses, sworn enemies of all wolves. Her parents had been killed by wolves decades ago. Arya felt the betrayal like a knife to the heart. Damien pulled her close protectively. You're not them. You're mine. But the packs murmured. She's a priestess. She's cursed. She'll destroy us. And one voice rose above the others. Callan's. Damien's beta. She shouldn't be queen, Callan said. She's dangerous. Damien's growl shook the ground. Watch your words. But Callan didn't back down. Your love blinds you. She will bring the packs to ruin. Damien stepped forward, eyes blazing. If you threaten her again, you stop being my beta. The pack gasped. Callan bowed stiffly, but hatred flickered in his eyes. And Arya knew. The betrayal had begun. Arya's powers grew rapidly. Too rapidly. Her palms glowed without touching Damien. Her dreams showed her visions of the future. Visions of fire, war, and a world torn apart. She realized the truth. She was the last lunar heir, and her power could either heal wolves or annihilate them. The rival Alpha returned with an entire army of priestesses, women born to hunt wolves, wielding magic darker than moonless nights. You should be on our side, one priestess told Arya. Wolves killed your family. Arya's heart cracked. Not all wolves. Damien stood behind her, hand on her waist. You're ours, he whispered. But the enemy's power grew. The war loomed again. And the final prophecy revealed itself. Only the Lunar Queen's sacrifice can end the curse. Damien refused to hear it. Arya couldn't forget it. The final battle erupted beneath a sky of swirling storm clouds. Priestesses unleashed lightning. Wolves lunged with claws and teeth. The rival Alpha sought Arya with desperate fury. Damien fought through waves of enemies, blood streaming down his torso, his wolf blazing with unstoppable power. Arya found herself facing the rival Alpha alone. He sneered. You could have ruled with me. I choose love, she said. He lunged. Damien appeared between them, taking a blade meant for Arya. Blood sprayed across the ground. He collapsed into her arms. The prophecy flashed in her mind. Arya pressed her glowing palms to his chest. Her life for his. Her soul for his. Damien choked. No, Arya, don't you dare. She kissed his forehead. I love you. And then she let her power explode. A brilliant golden wave surged outward, consuming every enemy, breaking every curse, cleansing every shadow. Damien screamed her name, and everything went white. Damien awoke to silence. The battlefield was gone. Arya was gone. Her scent lingered like a ghost, sweet, warm, heartbreaking. His wolf howled inside him. Damien staggered forward, searching the ruins, calling her name until his voice broke. His pack found him hours later, on his knees, covered in blood and mud, clutching a piece of Arya's torn shirt. The sacrifice was foretold, an elder whispered. Damien's rage shook the mountains. I will tear fate apart if I must. He hunted for her soul, through realms, through shadows, through worlds. Nothing, until, on the night of the full moon, he heard a heartbeat. Faint, beautiful, familiar. He turned, and saw her, Arya, alive, standing at the edge of the forest, breathing, smiling softly. Miss me, she whispered. Damien ran to her, lifting her into his arms, tears burning down his face. How? He choked. Arya touched his cheek. Because you searched for me. Because you never stopped. Their bond flared brighter than ever. The curse was gone. They were whole. Together. The packs gathered under the restored moon. Damien stood tall, Arya at his side. The Nightfang King and Lunar Queen. Two souls defying fate, destiny, and death itself. Wolves bowed. Priestesses bowed. The world bowed. Damien laced his fingers with Arya's. Stay with me, every lifetime. Arya smiled, eyes bright. There is no life where I don't choose you. He kissed her slow, deep, reverent, the kind of kiss that promised centuries. Their wolves howled together, echoing across the mountains, announcing a new era. Peace, strength, love, destiny fulfilled. And as the moon bathed them in silver light, Arya whispered the final words of their story. We are moonbound, forever.